Hey, welcome back to Cheating Wife, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to the channel for cheating stories like this. Wife of 15 years ends love and friendship by effing next door neighbor. It was on Thursday that my wife made her genuine D-Day confession when she tried to explain that she had gone to see the next door neighbor, the just a friend guy, and had ended up kissing him once because she was feeling so sorry for herself. It didn't make any sense to me at the time. This affair had began at least a month earlier, based on her behavior and the many red signs that I saw. She puked a couple of times before confessing to having had with him only the day before she was supposed to see him. She has paid at least 3 visits to his place of living. She was able to establish that they had just exchanged a few text messages. Over the course of a handful of 2, 3, and 4 a.m. sessions totaling around 1 hour, T-Mobile proves the fact approximately 1,000 times. That's correct, we're talking about. The first time was when she tried to sneak out at 2 a.m. to help him with a sick kid. She was caught. That lasted maybe a half hour, maybe more, maybe less, but it was my first genuine oh moment. I'm not sure how long it lasted. She met him outside our door first thing the next morning to go for a walk with him and his 2 dogs. The second occasion was to pay a visit to some old friends. Even though she didn't say who or where she was with, I was able to catch her entering his apartment when she thought I wasn't paying attention. Upon entering his apartment, I saw that all of the lights had been turned out. Right then and there, I realized it was true. In his room, I sat with my back against the wall. She tried to sneak out of his back door around an hour and a half later in order to conceal her position, but failed. As soon as she noticed me seated on the grass, she flashed me the deer caught in the headlights expression, which conveyed fear, regret, and other emotions. Even though she had the nerve to sit so near to me, all I could smell was him and his S. She contested it, alleging that there were other people in the room with her. There weren't any to be found. During the course of the night, I had strong suicide thoughts. Heavy. Aside from that, I attempted 3 other ways to entice myself. But, fortunately, it was just for a brief period of time. On the third and last time that I am aware of, she admitted to having relations with him. It was the night after we had discussed the possibility of divorce. I just thanked her for something and was attempting to be considerate of her situation. I prayed that I was incorrect and that everything was precisely as she said it would be. Even though I should have known better, my wife and I were inseparable. She is, my best friend, and she had been, my closest friend for 15 years. I truly wanted to put my faith in her. Then I made a terrible oversight. Because the AP was out of the country, she and I started to have seemingly unguarded, open conversations about our previous marital issues, her current struggles with what she believes is wrong with us, and so on and so forth. Even though she pushed all the right buttons to convince me that she'd never had relations with him, she did admit that she was attracted to him. Assuming that was real, I informed her that I want at least one fantastic weekend with her, complete with and everything else. However, if she had previously cheated on me with him, I would not take the chance. She was quite convincing. There were tears, hugs, and a sensitive dialogue as a result. That is exactly what we did. I even helped her choose a new vibrator, which she appreciated. I'm such a naive and trusting person. She did, in fact, speak the truth. She lied and cheated. She had relations with him on more than one occasion. You know when you know what you're talking about. A great deal of music and poetry has been created on this subject. I'm well aware that I'm not alone in this, but what I've learned is brand new and cannot be considered unknown at this time. In the same way that many of you do, I have to deal with this at all hours of the day and night. In my sleep, I imagine them together and pay attention to what they have to say about me. The self-deprecating ideas about how she finds with him to be much more delightful than it has ever been with me are hilarious. Then there's the nightmarish experiences. When I am up, they are often worse than when I am asleep. If I do manage to get a few minutes of calm sleep, I wake up after just a few minutes and realize that this is still the case, and all of the air escapes me and I am unable to breathe again. Earlier this year, in March, we made the decision to make a more serious effort to be better husband and wife, as well as better parents to our daughter. Initially, I worked my tail off to exhibit my best self to her and exposed myself to her in a vulnerable manner. She did the same for me. But when she saw the huge, unsightly dog guy next door, she did a full 180 on me and changed her mind. I was really taken aback. That occurred around 1 month ago. She responded with the standard, "He's only a pal" line of reasoning. She then told me that she wanted for me to go so that she could be her own person for a short period of time. The fact that I had done nothing illegal that I was aware of puzzled me more. I've tried my hardest to be the greatest husband I possibly could be. However, It was as a result of the liaison. This is completely beyond understanding. It is necessary for me to fly to Florida for a 3-week visit with relatives in order to get away from the situation. Perhaps you can get a more enlightened view on the situation. I'm not sure what to say. Seeing her makes me feel sick to my stomach right now. In trying to reconcile the fact that I've loved her for 15 years and now feel such hatred, rage, and disdain for her in such a short amount of time, I'm at a loss for what to say. It was not necessary for things to get to this. This isn't the case at all. I loved you with all of my heart, and I still do. You were my closest friend and confidant. Story 2. I don't know if I have a cheating story. I attempted to upload this the other day, but the account was too fresh, so I may need to make an amendment for current information. Because of a medical problem, I am Assad. I, male 34, have been married to my wife, female 33, for 7 years and we have a kid, 6, who will start school shortly. My wife and I have enjoyed a wonderful marriage. We have once or twice a week, perhaps more depending on how my illness is behaving. When I began missing work due to health difficulties roughly 3 years ago, it was determined that I would be Assad. So here's the deal with the title. My wife is away on business. She does not travel often, although she does on occasion. This trip is arranged since she has a conference and will be meeting at another site of her employer for training reasons. So she was putting her belongings in her bag. She had it open on our bed and was putting her belongings in it. I was assisting. Making use of a mental checklist, we were checking things off the list to make sure she didn't miss anything. I said at the last minute that I had done the laundry and that her PJs were clean in the laundry room. She set out to find them. Meanwhile, I decided to tuck a love letter from myself and one from our kid into the bottom of the luggage, telling her how much we love her and would miss her. As I lifted the garments, I saw the bottom layer was a pair of lingerie I had never seen before. She doesn't normally wear lingerie. I'm in excruciating pain. When I hear her return, I slide the notes in. My thoughts are racing at a breakneck pace. My biggest nightmare is coming true. Because of my illness, I felt less than a man, and she'll leave me. I maintain my silence. We retire to our beds. We've had S. She could tell I was having a bad day. I just said that my health was the issue. In the past, this has been the case. We retire for the night. I drive her to work the following day. We drove her to work since she had an afternoon flight. Then we returned later to drive her to the airport. I was going to bring the lingerie out of the luggage during the day, my stomach in knots. That would not deter her from cheating. So I went shopping and purchased a box of condoms. I placed them on top of the lingerie and instructed her not to bring anything home for me. So she's been gone for 2 nights. We chatted the first night she was here. She phoned again at my son's bedtime the following night. I have a unique ringtone for her. So, when her phone came through, I was reading to my sleeping kid. I handed him the phone so he could answer it. She spoke with him for a few minutes before saying good night. He then gave me the phone she'd hung up on. She must have discovered my notes. Edit. The lingerie is the kind you'd wear to bed, not a bra and panty combination. So now I must wait. She returns home on Friday afternoon. I've already phoned my parents to see if they're available for a visit this weekend. Thanks for reading.